Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with a simple drill. We're going to do the 3 rounds that we were doing the other day. In the beginning, you're going to wonder how this attaches to the other thing. It absolutely will. So he's in turtle position. Bottom player, don't not zone out on me, right? You got to feed that guy. You're just as important as his move because he's got to feel the sequence, right? So you're like this. We'll start it right over, right? You're here. You got position on here. I got position on here. I'm driving. I'm blocking. I'm stepping. I'm inside that kneecap. I have options to go left or right. I can split this up many different ways. My only care was sliding this hand through. So now I potentially have a head and arm choke if I drive this down low, but I just wanted to mount. That's really what I wanted to accomplish. Place my hand, take my secondary leg, drive forward, get him down, and potentially start mounting and dislodging. On the second one, it's going to come up, man. It is what it is. I come like this, and now I start driving him. He's blocking. So I take my thumb grip, I take command of it, and I backstep. I would love to take his back, but he's going to come up. I slide right down to the ankle. I got position on here, and now I start driving back. I fought for position. As soon as I landed, I'm already in there, right? So now I go right back to that head and arm, and I drive him forward again. And now if you want to go and dismount, I dismount, and I go back into my choke. Let's partner up. You're on for 1.5 minutes, and we'll do 3 rounds of it, okay? So you go left, right, left, right. You should get really fast at this. Some people say to me, well, what if I don't like doing that? Oh, my God, don't tell me you don't like doing that, because in a real fight, you got this guy down. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to try to get back up. You got to keep this man down. You got to choke him out, hold him down. I don't care what you do. The moment he gets up, I don't care who he is. I don't care if he's an untrained fighter. When he starts swinging those hands, you see it all the time. High-level guys get clipped. Guys that literally do boxing 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and this rookie comes in here, throws a heavy hand in, bah, and now he goes down. You got to keep that man down. Okay, guys? BJJ, you got to score points or submit. Let's do it, guys. Let's go off for a second, right? I didn't correct this, but, you know, the guy on the bottom, right, this is how, you know, I always say that you represent something. Let me just tell you a really quick story. I saw this fascinating study, right, that if you teach an Olympic athlete, and I've told this story before, if you teach an Olympic athlete a certain sequence of moves, like BJJ, not in their wheelhouse, but they're such a high-level athlete. You teach them this, you teach them a pattern, right? Something similar. We go back taking. Within 350 reps, they can perfect it. Okay. If you teach them the wrong way, on average, they did these studies. It'll take them about 4,500 reps to correct the pattern. Nobody in here is a professional athlete on that level ever. I haven't seen anybody. You haven't shown me any clips. Show me some stuff with your articles in Time Magazine. You haven't shown me any of that. So how do you think you're going to correct bad habits if you reinforce bad habits? You probably take 20,000 reps. I don't think you have the time. You probably have kids, you have a mortgage, you got a wife, or you got grandparent, whatever they are, right? So why don't you practice good habits, right? This is what I'm going to say right there. The guy just backstepped on you, and I see this. Like, my God, you would have been cherry-picked. And they would, a high-level black belt, and sometimes people have success because of size, and they think, oh, no, I could do. Man, so your goal is to just beat people that are lower than you, smaller, weaker, like, no, your goal is to dominate people that are 50 and 60 pounds bigger than you, and they don't understand it. That's why the fascination of this game was, right? That Royce Gracie, 175 pounds, went in there like that. And that he beat these men that were 100 pounds bigger than him, 150. That was that's what triggered this, right? So you're reinforcing these habits that you're like this. Guy, there goes that wrist ride that we worked the other day. And what if this was a real fight, right? And this guy's like this, and his friend's over here, because sometimes people just relate to fighting, right? It is what it is. Like, the BJJ is not enough. So if I explain it in a real fight, I'm in a club. Guy's over here kicking me to the face. My hands are like this. And I'm protecting, trying to get up, man. But you've already enforced in your world that you're like this. Ba-boom! There goes the first kick, and you're down, right? So you're just reinforcing those same habits over and over and over. But somehow in your mind, you think, day of fight? I don't do that in day of fight. Man, come on, dude. Really? I've been with UFC fighters in the highest level of the game, And they all do. And there's a reason why the military only practice perfection, because they know the day of the fight, the day of the mission, they do not rise to the occasion. They lower to the level of their training. So if you don't practice perfection, how do you expect to accomplish it or be close to it so you have a level of success on the day of, right? You can't. Life doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. So I'm going to say that you did everything. Remember, let's go back to the move now, okay? So my hands are like this. I don't open up these pockets. I don't just go through the moves and go, like, really, like your neck, like, but you're going to tell me day of. No, you're not, because you never knew how to get up like this, where you're protecting your vitals, you're getting kicked, and you're like, I'm up, man. I'm up. I protected everything, right? But that's how you got to play the game, right? So like this, and this is what we did the other day, so it's a recap. I told you, you got this wrist ride, right? And you're here on this backside like this. And this is what I said the other day, if you watch the video. I told you to put this kneecap here and just take one pivot, right? That's all I told you to do. I told you to go right here. I told you to put your kneecap in front of there. I told you you're going to give him as much pressure in this quadrant as you can. And as I do that, what I'm doing is trying to hold him down off of this quadrant so that I can pair my hands up and double cup my hands here. And then the third portion of it was I was going to take this leg and sweep his head so that I can get him to a 45 to attack this arm. So we were like this. I dropped this kneecap in. I took a back step right off this kneecap, so I didn't have any additional movements. All I did was this. And now as I land with my back leg, I'm pressing him with both because I want to keep him down. And I want to put both my hands from 2 behind 1 on this wrist. Okay, now I own this wrist. And as I'm pressing him, I'm taking this leg, and I'm just coming behind his head, and I'm just pushing his head through. So I said that at this point, when I pushed his head through at this point, this back leg is going to drop in this pocket. I'm not going to do that after. So as he's falling, I'm already taking a step to collect this arm and potentially go into a Kimura or spin into an armbar, okay? Right, so everybody knows exactly what we're doing. We're just going to mimic the pattern with the drill that we did. So nothing fast, okay? You're like this at this point, okay? You're here. I remember the drill we just did. You caught here, and I said you drove him down. And now you landed with him, but you landed low. And now I'm here like this. I'm making my position underneath this, behind the kneecap. I'm going backwards. He's coming up. Ethan did everything right, right? So do everything wrong, right? He did everything right. Kept his elbows tight, didn't let me. But remember what I said, people doing it the other way, that's cherry picked already. Like, right? You're here, I made this wedge, and I went like this. And now do what these guys are doing. They're coming, I'm already on this wrist. I'm already, because everything that you enforced, right there, right? So I'm right here. And what did I do? I dropped here first, right? Because I didn't know if I was going to get this wrist, right? I was here. Come back a second. So when I first made the position behind here, I was like this. He's coming up, and I'm seeing if I could slide my hand through, because I may go here, I may go here. He left his wrist. I felt it. Now I take the wrist, but I'm still here. So now I just put my kneecap where I said I needed to put it, right in front of the shoulder, and I make one pivot. I go 2 behind 1, and I'm holding onto this hand, and now I'm giving him so much pressure that I get a good stern base behind this leg. I take my secondary leg, and I start sweeping the head. Now I drop forward. So all I'm doing is knocking you down to see what you give me, right? I'm just seeing what you open up. And now remember later, I need you to do it bad now. Don't go correcting it now, right? Because those patterns, I told you, they were all throughout the room, but I didn't say anything, right? So you got to fix those patterns, right? You're here to drill for a reason. Some people just want to go through the movements. I don't know why you came. Like, you just should show up. Being honest with you, you should show up at 8:15, because at 8:15 I start the rounds. And you should go upstairs and do jumping jacks. But if you came in here, come in here to work. Come in here to drill perfection. You know, you don't get around it. You don't get around hard work. You just don't. And let me tell you something. I talk a lot of shit, but people that know me, like, he'll text me something at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll answer him back. And then at 4 o'clock in the morning, he'll send me another one. You guys know, because I work like a dog. Like, I literally, like, so I don't bullshit. I don't go, you do that, and then I go home and watch TV. I don't do that. Like, I got to lead by example, and I work and work and work, because I know that in order for me to do the things I personally enjoy in life and want to do, there's no way around it. So we're here, I go grabbing on, right? I start driving him back. As I'm driving, I get my grip on behind here. As I'm taking his step to get to his back, he's coming up. I'm sliding to the ankle, I got my wrist. I got my wrist. So I don't need this ankle anymore. I position my leg in front, I backstep. I'm on 2 behind 1, driving into this arm. And now I take my leg and I sweep. As I'm sweeping, I'm stepping forward to collect. One more time, right? So you're going left and right. Now you can start to see how this pairs up. So now you got some options. I can bring him back, I can grab. I can bring him back, I can grab. I'm not letting him up. I just cannot let you up, man, no matter what, right? I'm here like this. I'm on the back side, right? I'm grabbing on, I'm dropping. As I drop, I don't go left or right. I didn't win position in my kneecap. I know what I got to do. I got to get control of this back leg. So I reposition, I get control. I don't rush anything. I'm in a great spot. So now I come, as he comes up on the back step, he's coming up. What did I do? I slid right down to the ankle right away. I don't know the next outcome of this. I know this outcome. And I saw this happen a few times with some high-level guys. They were so late on this. The guy would come up, and then they're here, and now they're coming here. He already shoulder rolled, dude. He shoulder rolled. That already occurred, right? The time to come to the ankle was when he was first coming up. I just slid down. And now I'm right here. As he's coming through, I'm capturing, I'm knocking him down. I'm on the back step. I already was on the ankle. I'm on the wrist now, right? So now I'm dropping in front. I take one pivot. All of my weight's coming into him. I'm looking to secure a 2 behind 1. Now I position myself really tight on him so he can't go anywhere. I take my free leg. As I'm sweeping the head and pulling, I take my first step forward to collect. Let's part up and do it. Shoulder line are coming too high, right? All I'm trying to do is always dominate a quadrant. I'm trying to dominate this quadrant or this quadrant. But if I press this shoulder, back up for a second, if I press this shoulder up here, how am I dominating that quadrant? I'm not dominating anything. I'm like kind of dispersing my body weight up here. I want this guy so hard down here that when I start using this kneecap to jam this in, I'm not gonna be nice. In competition, I'm sweeping nice in here. In competition, you're gonna hit that guy hard with that thing. Go back in there. So do it wrong the first time, right? Back step. Okay, you start to see what his shoulder is. Now readjust it. Shoulder was up here. Right? He goes, drop the knee, no, sir. You drop the kneecap in. Yes, sir. Back step and stay low. Yes, sir. Now there's a lot of pressure on his head, right? Now he's going to take that secondary leg, put it behind there. Now he's going to pick him up and step forward, right? So pay attention to where your shoulder line positions are up on the lat. All I wanted was his hand. I really, really want his hand. And I want him, go back in there, Dave. I want him so tight on the ground that when I hit him on the backside like that, it's really hard to stop. And now, if you're playing division to division, like this isn't a monster, because the other day I told you if the guy's 50, 60 pounds heavier, I had you coming back the other way. But this is division to division. He's 160, I'm 160, or whatever you are, 140. This is like butter. This isn't even, you just go, he's like a toy. Like if you can't lift that guy up for that, like it's so simple. The one that's harder is like when there's a 60-pound difference, and that's what I showed the other day where I came back on the other side and caught the ankle and ripped the ACL, went into a whole different sequence. One more time. So pay attention to your shoulder. We'll capture this again on Friday and add more to it, right? So right now we're like this. No, stay right there. Remember I said before about that thing about the 4,500 reps? He hasn't dropped a knee. He hasn't dropped a knee. And now he's like this. And now Steve's shoulder rolls. He just got out. He got out, right? So now you start to see, oh, that pattern just got ingrained. Go ahead, right? Go back in there, right? He's on this ankle. He's putting this in, right? He's holding that hip down. Drop the kneecap, right? Now spin it. Yes, sir. Now fight for your grip. Perfect. Okay, that was very good, right? That was really good. So that's what we're trying to accomplish. Don't go out of pattern. You're just going to ingrain bad habits on it. Let's do it, guys. Excellent. When you did, everything was good, right? Just watch your head positions. I see some people, they're here like this. They've come through. They're here tight. They put the kneecap perfectly right behind there. And now they're dropping like this. And like, I don't want this shoulder, this hip to come in a roll on me. So when I'm here like this and I'm pressing, I'm very conscious of what I'm not like this. Because now if Ethan starts to shoulder roll on me, this becomes so awkward that he might get this hip over my head. And now what am I going to do with this arm? And it just becomes this awkward. So my head's like this lined up. My shoulder's driving this quadrant down as heavy as it can. My base never comes up into like a tripod, because then I've lost my power. I'm like this, driving in. I'm like here, my head position knows what's happening up there. I'm just trying to put my hands together. If you get this hand out, you don't have to sweep his head. The sweeping of the head was because he put his hands and locked them in. This hand comes out and I'm 2 behind 1. I'm gonna start ripping this thing up. Like, so I can keep going into a lot of different angles at it. So just pay attention. I know it's like a weird position, but if you refine it, you'll start understanding the game really lies in the small details, really small details. We got 2 minutes before we go live. You want to grab water, anything you want.